All righty, I'm here with Kate Redmond from Hunter Subaru, and
Oh,
we talked about 6 months ago
oh, geez.
about, I know, right? February. It's been a minute. So we talked about 6 months ago and was really excited because you had started a new fitness and health journey for yourself. And we were so interested and intrigued with this journey because you guys partner with us so much on our events and you've been to so many of our events, and we looked and here you were just starting this new journey. So
Yeah.
I want to know, how's it going? How's it been going? 6 months.
In all true things, a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I took, I had each year I create a bucket list for myself. And so one of the things was run a 5K a month. Like we sponsor a ton of them to help nonprofits and different organizations. And so I was like, if I can run one a month, then I'll still have a goal every month and I'll keep up with my running because
Yeah, it's a great goal.
if there's no accountability, I fail immediately. So especially when it comes to working out and health and fitness. And I was training for jump off and I wanted to do the 10K because that one doesn't have a 5K. And so I was like, for May, let's double
Yeah.
down, right? If you
Okay.
do 5K, let's shoot for the 10K. I figured if all else fails, I walked five. I know I can run the
Right.
first half. If all else fails, I walk the second half. And I was traveling a bunch for work. And so I will never forget this. I was in Tampa and I was doing a 4 mile run. Like it was like 2 or 3 weeks before the run, and I fractured my foot. So I had a small fracture, stress fracture on the top of my foot, which was very weird because I've never broken anything, cracked anything, never physically really hurt myself. Uh,
Yeah.
and so I was like not running jump off. And then my goal was to make it to bark and bolt, but that it just wasn't, there was not enough time to retrain to get
Yeah.
back up. And I've kicked off running again. I'm doing with the guidance of my both my doctor and my personal trainer. I'm redoing the Couch to 5K program. And so,
Okay.
okay, we need to retrain all the muscles in your foot and your ankle to endure again. Because if you just start running 3 miles a day, you're just going to re-injure yourself. Did a bunch of research on shoes. So I was like, okay, need to really look at shoes, what shoes I was running in. I was due for new shoes anyways. And
Mhm.
so I started, I'm about halfway through the Couch to 5K program again. I will say this time around, my lung capacity, I thought it was just going to be like my foot and retraining my foot. And I was like, wow, I lost lung capacity. It was like, oh, it was almost 8 weeks that I was like no physical activity. And that's what's killing me right now. Like I'm not sore. Like I stretch before, I stretch after, but it's like my
Yeah.
legs aren't sore. They're not cramping. I'm not having knee pressure or ankle pain or anything like that. But my lungs, whew, maybe it's this heat. I'm gonna bank on it's the heat. I'm hoping it's
Yeah.
not.
First of all, kudos to you for starting again, because I think, what I've seen over the years is it's so hard when you start, right? Everything hurts, your lungs, like right now you're dealing with the cardio stuff, and it's like, why do you want to put yourself through that again? Is it worth it? But you know that it is worth it.
Yeah.
Like the benefits are worth it. But so back up just a second, because I
Yeah.
know you got your injury,
Mhm.
which is very common actually in
Yeah.
runners to get injuries. Like I remember when I got my first and I was like, I didn't fall. Why do I
Right.
have this hip issue? And it was
Well,
just so confusing to me. You had the foot problem. You were in a boot, right?
my doctor just put me in a brace.
In a brace.
It didn't require, it wasn't as big. She was like, you can get away with a brace and a good padded shoe. You don't need a full boot.
So during that time, were you just, I'm just gonna sit around? Like,
No, I
honestly,
luckily
what did you do during that time? Were you just, woe is me? Like, how are you feeling and what did you do?
in the beginning I was mad. And
Okay.
then I was like, I can't work out. And then I was like, oh, that's nice. I can sleep till 6:30 again. I'm
Yeah.
not getting up at 5 to hit the gym. And then so I took a couple days, came back from Tampa, took a couple days. And then I talked with my trainer because so I normally run in the afternoon and I do strength train in the morning. And so she was like, look, we're just going to work on your core and your arms. Like, we'll just work the upper half of your body instead of the bottom. And I was like, okay. And then I realized that my core strength is nowhere near what I thought it was. That was nice to be able to focus and specialize on that as opposed to running. Because I was like, oh, I still have a
Yeah.
long way to go. You're
Yeah.
never ever done being
Right.
physical or active or toning or whatever your goal is. But we focused on that. And that helped me because in the beginning, like those first couple, like 2 weeks, I was struggling because running had become my stress reliever. Like it's where I worked everything out in my head. Like I would leave work and I'd go for a run. And by the time my run was done, like my head was clear. I'd come home, I'd make dinner, I'd relax. Like it created this balance in my life that I never really had before. So it was normally like out of work, home, but still thinking about work or thinking about this or thinking about
Mhm.
that. And
Yeah.
so I started meditating actually because I was like, I have got to get my brain to slow down because there was no outlet for it anymore.
Mhm.
So I started meditating and that worked really well, coming home
Mhm.
from work and just doing that. But in the beginning, I was like, this could get
Yeah.
bad.
It's hard when you're so used to moving your body and then all of a sudden you can't. Like you can't move it in the same way and you have to find ways to adjust, and I'm glad you found some meditation in the meantime. And
Yeah, that was a big help.
so now you've started coming back to running. When did that happen? Was it in July? It's August right now.
I started again mid-June. I still had pretty heavy travel through June. I was in Connecticut, and so I was like, I'm taking advantage of this cooler weather from the south.
Yeah.
And so I initially started running there, and then I was in Nashville the following week and was able to get some runs done like on Lower Broadway and along the river. So I took advantage of the scenery just because I was like, oh, different place. So I was
Yeah.
able to get some runs in and then been working it back to 3 to 4 days a week here, but it's hot.
It is. I think the mugginess too has really settled in August in the
Yeah.
mountains here in Western North Carolina. And I definitely have been feeling heaviness during
Mhm.
the run. And I think a lot of it's to do with not just the heat, but the humidity.
Yeah. Since I'm on interval, I'm still on some of they're not long intervals right now. It'll get there, I think next week we start amping up on time based on the app. But so I've been trying to do in the gym. I'm not a huge fan of treadmill running, but I've
So
been working through that.
what's your next goal? You said you like to have goals in front of you.
Yeah, so the next race I have is Apple Festival. So the Apple Festival races Labor Day weekend with Henderson County Chamber. I'll do that one. And then I signed up for Holiday Hustle again. So I'm really,
Good, good,
really
good.
wanted the medal.
Of course.
But I
You
signed
need
up
to
for all three of those. And I have some coworkers that are like, oh my gosh, are you going to do all three again? And I said, yeah. So now I've got some coworkers that want to do it with me. And so I pretty much I have a race for once a month for the rest of the year,
good. So
starting
you're
in
back on
September.
track. You're back on track.
Back on track. So I just missed June, July, and August. So I only missed 3, which in the grand scheme of things, like I've never been a runner before. Last year was the
Yeah.
first time I ever ran anything for distance or for more than a couple weeks at a time. I'm gonna be happy with my 9 out of 12 months instead of my 12 out of
I feel like it was a lofty goal, right?
yeah.
I mean, you're
Oh yeah.
brand new to running. You don't really know what's going to happen to your body during that time. And
Right.
like I said, running injuries are so common. So for you to be able to pull off 9 races
Yeah.
this year,
I'm excited.
that's huge. So
I'm excited for it.
we at IDAF, we see you on social media and stuff, and we notice how much you've been traveling. And
Yes.
so I asked my team, I said, all right, I'm talking to Kate. What do you want to know? And she's gone all the time. Like she's traveling. Like, how is she able to, or are you able to, or eat nutritional foods and slash exercise? And how are you doing that?
Yeah. First is I plan for it. I like as much as I plan to pack which clothes I'm going to take on a trip or like what work I have to prep for, I literally prep my either ideas for food and then the same for workouts. We did a girls trip to the beach and it was like, okay, I need a running outfit for each day. I'm going to be gone for 3-4 days. Like I need 3-4 days of running outfits. And my girlfriends are like, you're going to run every day. And I was like, Yeah, because I know I'm not going to be the best on nutrition on vacation. So I'll feel less guilty if I can get a workout in. And so
Uh-huh.
I just plan for it. I know that whether it's a work conference or if it's a personal trip, like nothing's really starting before 8 or 9 a.m., even conferences. Like yesterday, I had a conference in Greenville for the day. And so I had to leave by 8 to get down there, but I was still able to get up and go to the gym and get a run in at the gym yesterday morning before I left town. And then when I'm traveling further, I do belong to a Planet Fitness. And the only reason I belong to Planet Fitness is because I travel so much. And so I can hit Planet Fitnesses all over the country. And
Mm.
most of the time they're in the cities I'm traveling to for work. So if the hotel gym isn't as adequate as I need it to be, like I'll just go to the local Planet Fitness. But I do most of the conference hotels I have to go to, luckily have a really good gym inside the hotel. So I just plan for that. Like, what does the gym in the hotel look like? What are the immediate restaurants around it? What kind of food can I get? What kind of food is the hotel serving? So I just do some research. I don't drive myself crazy with it, but I'm like, look, if everything is fried, like where can I get a salad?
Yeah.
Like you just find a restaurant for a salad. Or if vendors are coordinating dinners, you have events and things like that. I've noticed nowadays it's not that bad. Like the food range is far more susceptible to be more nutritious than anything else. Like yesterday, they had two different salad options, like roasted chicken, salmon. Like it was, and you're
Mhm.
like, I'm used to Chick-fil-A sandwiches. So
We love
it's nice.
Chick-fil-A, but yes.
Yeah, it's nice when they think ahead, but also I just do the research. What's
Right.
near or where I'm going to be. So if I need something quick, I don't have to think in the moment. I've already done that before I got there.
Now, do you ever, I know when I travel, I try to look for places that have a kitchen or a little mini fridge or something that I can actually go to a store and
Yep.
get some things so that, like for breakfast, my breakfast is pretty simple with a chia seed pudding that I typically
Yep.
have. And I can make it ahead and put it in the fridge. And so it's nice to just be able to grab that and have that in the morning before I
Yes.
exercise. But when you go to a hotel for breakfast, typically they don't have that. They have a lot of processed food, sometimes eggs and pancakes and things like that,
Yep.
which is great, but that's not usually what I want before I'm going to exercise and stuff. Do you have a particular thing that you do for breakfast?
Lately, it's just been protein shakes. If I
Okay.
can, just because it can be portioned, it can go into a Ziploc bag. It's
Right.
super easy. So most of the time when I travel, my breakfast is like a protein shake. But a lot of times, like I'll just go to the store and get like the pre-hard boiled eggs, and then I'll get some fruit. So it's like super, I don't have to worry about the cooking aspect of
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
then most hotels nowadays have mini fridges, or Airbnbs or even tiny homes have little mini refrigerators. So I normally just, whenever I get to a city that I'm going, and then I always have pistachios on me. There's always like certain things that I like always just have to be like, if all else fails, I've got pistachios in
Yeah.
my bag.
My blood sugar is crashing. I need
Yeah.
something quick.
Yeah.
Pistachios,
Yep. Absolutely.
walnuts. Yeah. No, I hear
Absolutely. I do cheat and buy the pre-shelled ones sometimes, because sometimes
that.
like, you don't want to deal with all the shells.
Yeah,
You
it's so
just
much
need the protein.
simpler. Okay, so your how is like your fitness is coming back, and I know one of your goals was weight loss as
Yeah.
well. Are you still losing? Have you plateaued? Like, where are you at with that? Have you reached your goal? Where are you?
Yeah, so I'm not at my goal. I did gain a little in my hiatus of running just because I was so regimented with workouts and running and dieting. And I'm okay with that because I beat myself up all the time. We're our own worst critics, right? But at the same time, I'm like, I have to give myself grace. Like, this isn't like a one and done. And once I reach it, I'm done. This is a long-term plan for me. It's not just once I do this, I'm done and then I can go back, or you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I did hit I gained a little and then I lost it and then I hit a plateau. And so I've really just been like, okay, we're just going to lean in. I make sure I drink my gallon of water every day. I make sure I get my workouts in every week. I make sure that I am eating the right foods, and
yeah,
I will eventually move past it, but I'm just trying not to focus on it because it can be such a deterrent. Like I saw some people yesterday I haven't seen in a couple months, and they're like, "Oh my God, how much more weight have you lost?" And I'm like, not a pound,
yeah,
not
yeah.
a single pound. But at the same time, I've been working with my trainer. So we've been
We
like,
built
body
muscle.
composition has changed more and that's why I try not to think about just the pounds, because my shape continues to change and I continue to build more muscle and tone. So I look different. I just haven't lost on the scale.
Yeah, I
So
think people have to find what's sustainable for them. And I think being deprived of things can backfire on you. And so if you're so regimented with nutrition or exercise or whatever,
yeah.
eventually you just get burnt out on it.
Oh my
You're like,
gosh. Yeah.
give me all the cookies, give me
Yep.
all the cake. And it's,
Yeah.
if you balance and allow yourself some things in moderation with the exercise, I think that it's more long lasting, is what
Yeah.
I've seen in people. So I think you're
Plus,
on the right track for sure.
there's especially, I'm a huge sweets person. I like, me and
Yeah.
my girlfriends joke all the time. Like, I can't say no to creme brulee. Like, if it's on the menu, like, we're getting it. Like, it is just one of my
Fine.
favorite luxuries in life. And so it's like, and then, but what's really cool is like nowadays, even from a year or two ago, there's so many more products available. Granted, they're probably not good for you, but there's still more products available that are like zero sugar, no sugar. You can get flour tortillas with zero carbs now.
Mhm.
That was never a thing before. Like, I haven't eaten tortillas in months, but then I was like, zero sugar. Yes. Or like, I know, right? But you're like, okay, so I can have tacos like once. I don't need to have tacos every day or every week, but now I have an option that I don't feel as guilty eating and
Mhm.
still tastes as good. Or I love the zero sugar ready whip. I know it's not good for me, but every once in a while I just need something with a little bit of sweets. And I'm
I had
like,
a friend who loved that too. Yeah, you find your thing and the little tricks and the balance, and I think it takes time, right? It's not
yeah,
gonna just happen because you make the decision on January 1st or whenever you decided that you wanted to change your life and your journey. It's
yeah,
gonna go through ebbs and flows until you figure out what works every day.
yeah.
So well, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that you've gotten back in the running shoes,
Yes.
on the saddle, and haven't given up on it and moving. Because I think that it can be very discouraging to people when
Mhm.
they get injured, especially as a new runner, and you're like, why am I even bothering?
Yeah, I have to credit my trainer because mentally I was not wanting to get back into it. I was just like, I don't want to run. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, but you loved doing it when I was in it. And she was like, this is your body just telling you need more time. Stop trying to force it. Listen to your body. And when you're ready, you're just going to go run. You're going to be like, I want to run today.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what happened. And it was
Yeah.
like I ran outside both mornings this past weekend. And I was like, man, this feels good to run again, even though I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but it felt good again.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to continue to like, especially after an injury, just to, like I say, give yourself grace and to be like, we'll get there. If it's a focus and a priority of yours, you'll eventually get there, but don't
Right.
beat yourself up if it's not exactly what you want immediately.
And having your own goals for yourself, right? Not comparing yourself to other people that maybe you thought you were similar to, or maybe you were in races and you were next to them. And then now you're like, oh, I'm going to go to this race and not be next to them anymore. But that's okay because you have had an injury and you're coming back from it and you're going to end up being stronger in the long
Yeah.
run. It's just the setbacks that test us.
Oh boy, do they.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you and that you're able to just continue with this while you're traveling and busy and injuries and all of that.
So
So
many things. I am happy I'm home for a while.
very inspiring. So
Thank you.
yes, you've inspired a lot of people in the community and you continue to, and we want to keep tabs on your progress and see you with that holiday hustle medal
Yes,
as
I'm so
well on
excited.
January 1st. So
Yeah, we're sponsoring the whole hustle this year. So I was like, let's
yes.
go, let's do
Yeah.
this. So
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
working on recruiting.
it's such a great, I think a lot of people, I've talked to my team about this a lot in the last few months. People think of races as you have to come run and it's all these competitive people and stuff. But when you come to a race that no, it's
It's just a lot of fun.
all abilities, all shapes, all
Mhm.
sizes, and people have their own reason for being there. Maybe 5%, 10% are there to win, but there's so many people that just walk.
Yep.
our events that
Mhm.
come because it's such a fun experience and there's so much fun energy and all the things that come along with the race. So I think you've probably figured that out too,
Yeah,
coming to all the events that, hey, it's like, I actually fit here too.
yeah.
I'm just like these people.
It's been pretty cool because when I first started at Hunter and then I was at the events and handing out stuff, and I was like, one day, I think it was this ugly sweater, not last year, but the year before. And it was like the first one after the COVID shutdown or whatever. And I was like, this looks like so much fun. It's freezing, but it looks like so much fun because everybody was just hyped for the holiday and all decked out head to toe in the best Christmas running gear I've ever seen.
Love
And
it.
I was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to figure out how to be more a part of this.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't
Mhm.
want to be on the outside of it. You want
Right.
on the inside of it, feeling all the feels with everybody else because it's such a good feeling. It's hard to
Yeah.
even describe to people
So
unless
fun.
you do it. But yeah, ugly sweater's a great one for people who might not be that into running or racing, want to
Mhm.
just come and walk and figure it out and
Yeah,
have fun, be in the spirit of Christmas.
absolutely.
Get an ugly sweater from a thrift store and show up.
Just rock it out. You're good to
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on. This was fun. I love when we get to catch up.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just so grateful for you guys at Hunter and for you. And we, like I said, we just love seeing the journey that is happening for you.
thank you.
Yeah.
We're getting there one day at a time.
Yep. Yep. All right. We'll be in touch. Talk soon.
Talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.